Hello and welcome everybody to the Petty Crew Radio Show. I am your boy Boss Hogg, aka Mr. Petty, aka I'm just not who you really want to play with, aka I will put my foot up in your ass. Now let me stop playing with you guys. Listen. We want to welcome everybody to another Sunday of the Petty Crew Radio Show. Um, I'm so excited, so please forgive me if I'm extra today. I'm going to act brand new, and I'm going to be acting brand new for so many reasons. Um, One, for the people who've been rocking with us from day one, you see a young lady on this show who has been Miss Faithful. Listen, if I was able to, she defines loyalty straight up and down. 4 years that I've been doing it. And I'm going to introduce her last. But first, what I want to do is I'm going to introduce Diamond. What's good, Diamond? How you doing?
Hi, it's great to be here. Of course, I'm Diamond, all the way in San Antonio, Texas.
Hey, girl, hey.
Also in the building. This young lady, she was chiming in on last Sunday's show. And I was like, you know what? Let me hit you up because I got to bring you on this show. He accepted the invite. And so today I have with me CEO of Power Team, correct? Keisha Keish.
That is correct. That is correct. Hey, y'all, I'm just really excited to be in the building. And he's right. I was chiming in on the topics last week. And I was just excited. That's what I like to do. I like to engage and, just be in the know of what's going on and having fun. But just to bring everybody a little bit up to speed, this became a passion of mine a while back. And I kind of know a couple of the guys here on the show from the after party. We started out at the after party radio, shouts out to Montana. And that's where it kind of all began. And we began to develop the passion, obviously to do this thing just in a different way. So what I did was I formed another team. I was on the after party with Black Market Radio. Shout out to all of my brothers. Black Market, we are still a family and we are still in full effect as well. So shout out to those guys and my new team that I'm a part of, which is Power Team. I'm the CEO of that, and we run a podcast as well on every Wednesday night. So I'm just excited, y'all, to be in the building. I'm just ready to go ahead and get things popping. So thanks so much for having me, Boss Hogg.
Oh, yeah, listen, no problem at all. Anytime I get an opportunity to share and cross brand shows, because we're all in it to do the same thing. And so, it is definitely a privilege and honor to finally have you on my show. With that being said, without further ado, listen, this woman to me defines loyalty. I am dead serious from the heart. She has been rocking with me from day one. Um, Rarely miss the show. I mean, something just happened to have to go on, but she's just been day one, and I've always had that. And if you know anything about business, you know anything about life, it is really hard to run across people who are loyal, especially when you're building a team. Keisha can attest to that. Diamond can attest to that if you're doing something. And so you appreciate those who rock with you. They believe in what you believe in. They don't give you drama. It's like, you know what? I got you. And this woman here is the epitome to me of loyalty. She is the first lady of sports on my show because she is all around, and it's kind of dope, kind of having a woman who brought the sports to our show. Listen, I introduced the song, as they say.
We're not going back to the Easter speeches, or
yeah, we doing it like they do in the church. Listen, I introduced the song, and what's that other part of it? How do it go?
I would like to introduce to some and present to others.
And present to others, yes.
I know.
Listen,
So yes, we're in church.
The first lady of sports, Rise. What's good, boo?
Hey, how y'all doing? Glad to be back.
Hey, hey.
Hey, like he said, I wasn't there from day one, but like day because he'd had a crew and I seen it and I watched him, and then he reached out to me one day and I was like, I'll give it a try. I asked a couple of people, close friends, how do y'all think I do on the radio? And they was like, is it censored? Is it censored? And I was like, no, I think I can hold it in. So my team kind of gave me the encouragement to start doing it. So I told him, yeah, I'll give it a try. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? If you know me,
Right,
I'll try anything once. And if I don't like it, then I'm just not going to do it again. And if
Right.
I love
right.
it, I will continue on. I may fall back a little bit as I explained to him, and I'm sure we'll get into it later on in a couple more shows. But
Mm-hmm.
life came at me hard, and for anybody out there that's dealing with this COVID stuff, I would suggest you get a mental check, just across the board, just to make sure you're okay. Because sometimes you have underlying issues that you're not even aware of until it
Mm.
actually happens. So glad to be back. Glad to see the team. Glad to see the viewers waiting on the comments and ready for the content.
Yeah, listen again,
No, that's right.
life does happen. Again, we are in the middle of this pandemic for you guys who are up under a rock, like we like to say here on this show. If your ass just been living under a rock, don't forget we are still in the middle of a pandemic. And so it's just good, like I told Roz, to get back into the swing of things because it was honestly, Diamond who really pushed me. I was going to give up on this show, and
Really?
yeah, and Diamond reached out to me is because she is new to podcasting and she wanted to learn and learn from me. And so just when I was like, you know what, because Roz is very true, man. Listen, life happens to all of us, personal,
Yeah.
business, and everything. And so it was really her that really lit a fire under me to say, you know what, there are people watching us. I expressed that to Roz, as much as we don't think that people are watching, it is always somebody that is watching what we're doing. They admire what we're doing, and that gives them the
Absolutely.
inspiration to do the same thing. You get what I'm saying? And so, with that being said, man, listen, we got a great show lined up for you guys. So let me let you guys know. First of all, please like and share this live. This is the Petty Crew Radio Show. Listen, if it ain't talked about on this show, it ain't been settled yet. I don't. That's just how I go here. We are the last say so on anything. And so please like and share this video. We have a great show
That's
lined up.
right.
First and foremost, we're gonna jump into Kirk Franklin. Everybody wants to
Woo.
know our thoughts about Kirk. We're also gonna talk about a video from Twitter, a head coach, and I'll let you guys see it because I will be playing it on the show. He's teaching his basketball players how to interact with the police once they get stopped. Now, again, if you follow this show and if you know me, that shit, I just cringe every time I see that shit. And so I wanted to get everybody who's going to be on the panel thoughts about the video, good and bad and indifferent. And we're also going to jump into there's a scientist who says that there is no scientific basis for lawmakers to be creating bills that prevent them from participating in female sports. You guys who've been watching the news and everything, you've seen in the news where men who's transitioned to women who identify as women are now participating in female sports. We also know that up there in Connecticut, a lot of there are two gentlemen who, in a couple of years, because it's been 2 or 3 years now, but they made national headlines because when they went from male to female in track, they started winning and also setting high school and now collegiate records as transgender women. It has created some outrage, and now you have states who are literally creating laws that will prevent transgender women from participating in female sports. So with that being said, man, we're gonna jump right into it. We don't need to read this story about Kirk Franklin and his son. For you guys who've been following over the past week, his son Keenan, who is, by the way, who will be 33, released a
Thank
audio,
you.
released an audio of his father saying some unpleasant words. If you are parents, we really don't need to go into whatever the hell he was saying. We know he
Right.
was really tearing into his son grown ass.
It was justified.
Exactly.
It
Right.
was just
So then we have to get everybody caught up. He I first seen it when he went live, I guess, or something. He posted a video on social media, Facebook, where he's apologizing. He's humble. Just looking at him, he looked tired as hell, woe out.
he
But he was
did.
basically apologizing to the people about what they heard. Then he went on, I guess, the Tamara Johnson show or Tamara,
Camera
I
Hall.
forget Tamara Hall show.
Yeah.
And he went on to, say that, listen, I'm going to love my son. I apologize again, the whole 9 yards. And so now we're here. And what I'm going to do, because I got a panel now, I'm going to turn it over to Keisha, our guest, because Roz is family.
Yeah.
Roz is family.
She may eat
So
first.
Keisha, holler at me and
Listen,
let me know what's your thoughts about this.
first off, I'm so glad that you actually made it a point to help everybody understand how old this man was. He's 33. And when I first started seeing this everywhere and people were sharing, their views on things, a lot of people, they weren't mentioning that he was 33 years old. So when you would read the comments, everybody was pretty much making it seem as if this was a baby and you cursed in front of a baby or something, and you should be so disappointed in yourself. Like, it was crazy. But here's the thing. To me, there was some malicious intent behind it from jump because of the way his son did it. You're crying out for something, you're recording all this information. Like, what is it that you're trying to gain? And as a parent, the utmost disrespect is the way that you did it. And unfortunately, I hate the fact that Kirk had to go and apologize, because this is your child. You are still human. And he was disrespectful for what he did. So my hat, hands, everything goes off to Kirk for even humbling himself to do so. But I just think that sometimes you gotta just get out of people's business. That was, his son had a purpose in what he was doing, and I just feel that it was the wrong way. His approach was totally wrong.
Right.
I don't see nothing wrong with what Kirk was saying.
Diamond, what you think?
Man, I'm just saying this. We're like, again, it was a grown son. And again, as an adult, whatever. And honestly, I'm gonna be real with you.
I think you froze, Diamond.
Yeah, I think she did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
I think you
froze.
froze. Yeah, Roz. Well, you talk to me because I can't wait to hear from you. What's up?
Well, it's so I get it why everybody is outraged. He's a Christian, and you're not supposed to talk like that when you're supposed to be ordained and so sanctified and holy. Um, just for sake of jokes, I've been baptized a couple of times because they probably didn't get it right. The first couple that I had been dipped, but you mess up in life. And he
Right.
did this with a motive. He wanted to show his dad in this light for something that his dad didn't give to him or that he wanted. So it was a setup. This is not the first conversation that
From
they've
jump.
had like this. And he knew certain words that he was going to say was going to set him off. So he set it up
Exactly.
perfectly because I don't record conversations with my mom. I don't record
Exactly.
conversations with people. I don't, unless I want something to be recorded so I can hold it for later or whatever the situation is. So and to use the term, he was acting like a scorned woman. I think it's even too light. He was acting like a brat. He didn't get what he wanted, so he was gonna in turn throw his dad under the bus y'all are praising this man, but look what he does behind the scenes. That's not my business because I still listen to Kirk. Actually, I got when I heard it, I went to a song because Kirk probably had to go back and listen to his and be like, "Let me calm down before I go over here and kill this man." That's
Right.
probably what he
Exactly.
had to do. So you,
You're
yeah,
right.
to me, you made him more accessible to us. He's human. He has faults. He has messed up. It's time to cradle him and tell his son, you need to kick rocks. In other
Exactly.
words,
Well, so again, we're all parents on this show. And there are so many ways to look at this. Like the first thing I was thinking was, I'm wondering if they whooped his ass growing up. Because honestly, I mean, because that's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, we're all parents. Let's keep it 100.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody on this show are parents. The first
yes,
thing that came to my mind was, I wonder if they whooped his ass growing up. From reading everything and looking at this behavior, and also what we also need to recognize is that Kirk Franklin is here in Texas. His son is in California, living his life, doing whatever the hell it is he's doing,
Living his best life. Mm-hmm.
whatever it is. Because honestly, we still don't know what brought about this situation. But I started thinking, I wonder if y'all whooped his ass growing up. That's number one. Because, like Ross said, what it looked like we have is a spoiled brat who, for whatever reason, decided to put his father on blast. Now, clearly, this little boy, because even though he's 33, little boy mentally, he's not thinking, I'm only giving people half of a story, and if anybody got some
right,
sense, they're gonna be like, well, damn, I really didn't. So I don't think he thought about how it was really going to make Kirk Franklin look.
right.
Sadly, y'all
It was
correct.
human. To me, it was human. You have situations, especially with your adult kids. All of them are not perfect. I don't have a perfect child. I love her for her imperfections. Please believe, because I have to. But some days, yes, you put together the best combinations when you're talking to them because they don't push you that far.
To
And
Right,
the limit.
he had some, like Steve Harvey said, next time call me. I got some perfect combinations that you can borrow for him. The
right,
treatment is man to man, not man
Yeah.
to boy, because he's a man and he put
Right.
himself in a child position. Because now I'm thinking, he done some light stuff over here. Why would you out your dad like that? You know his
I think
career,
yeah.
his
He knew how he
livelihood,
was gonna make him look.
right? You tried to take all that, but to me it backfired because I think now
Exactly.
I would love to see how Kirk Franklin's sales have been since this. Because to me, you're human. You're human, and some kids just push you to that line to where gray is just black right now. And we just
right.
gonna deal with
Right.
this problem now.
Well,
Right.
well, not only that, and you guys, if you've been following the story, and like I said, honestly, I don't be into all this shit. It just come across my little old timeline or however somebody might send it to me. And then I got to reading and start finding out a little bit more. We talking about 20 years of counseling. First of all, what in the hell is wrong with you? And that's what made me think about, y'all must not have whooped his ass ever growing up. Because if
But you
you've been
know,
doing 20
he
years of
had some
counseling,
mental issues.
what you say, Diamond?
Said he probably had, when you talk about 20 years of counseling, that automatically tells you there's some mental stability and mental issues going on as well. So,
Right.
he has some things that are desperately going on. The fact that they went through 20 years of counseling and he's still not totally stable is one of the things that if you actually, followed the story and read some of the things that Kirk said, it boils down to basically he has some mental issues. And because of that, they probably didn't whoop him because, as a parent, sometimes when you know something is wrong with your child, you tend to cuddle them a little bit more than often than what you should. So he probably has those issues. He's been cuddled, and he was trying to use those things for his advantage because at the time he wasn't getting what he wanted. So he thought if he pulled this out, it was gonna get him what he wanted, but he actually ended up in a situation that he definitely did not look ahead to see. Oh, this made my whole outcome worse. And as Kirk stated, he's still gonna be there for him, and that's his son. But it's obvious that he has some serious other issues that are going on besides that stems from the mental side.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And so let me add this because the mother has weighed in because at first we didn't know about the mother, and so she has weighed in and she was on the show, a podcast as well. And so I'm going to read something that she said. She says she talks about her son. She says Keon is a bit rebellious and has made claims that he believes his father is trying to take his life. As his mother, that put her in a difficult predicament, and she's tried her best to resolve this matter privately. I'm not saying that my son is not hurting from us being teenage parents. I'm not saying my son doesn't have a testimony. What I'm saying is that you were not abandoned. No one um, abdicated their responsibilities towards you. Ewing said, you are loved, Keon Franklin. I will look at the camera and say, you are loved. We support you then. We support you now. We support you tomorrow, but there's a way to deal with it. So the mother has weighed in. And again, it goes back to what I said. This has to be a child that never got his ass whooped growing up because you can tell. He was in money. I mean, let's be real. Come on now, let's be real. If you grew up in money and you have an ideology where it is centered around that we're not going to physically discipline our children, this is kind of what you see as children get older. So you get what I'm saying? Because that typically happens. Now he's still rebellious because what we're looking at is at some point what is not being talked about was this child ever disciplined. Let's be real. Discipline plays a part in how we grow up. If you had a mother, father who was stern, who didn't play, who taught you, the right and wrongs, you had some bump and bruises, you kind of know better, right? You kind of know how to kind of operate. Versus this guy at 33.
Really, I Boss Hogg, I disagree. Listen, I do agree with the part that
Uh-huh.
your upbringing weighs on how you become as an adult. To me, again, I just feel like he had motives behind what he did, and it backfired on him. It doesn't really matter if he got his butt whooped when he was a child or not, because at the age of 33, you have now learned as an adult. You live in California, right? You out there living, making your choices and doing all these other things. I just think that this is a sign of being privileged. And you felt like because you grew up in a household of people that was able to give you a life that some may not have had, you were privileged to do this, and you were not going to um no actions was going to come behind it because you felt privileged. I don't think it has anything to do with them beating his butt when he did this on purpose. And again, this should have been handled differently. I'm surprised Kirk didn't just go and put them hands on him. I mean, it was disrespectful.
But see, okay, and we're gonna keep it moving. The reason why I say that and my motive behind it is because I look at words, and anybody that know me, I read what is said, and then I also go into what wasn't said. And again, I want to point out something that the mother said that struck me in her comment. She says, "I'm not saying that my son is not hurting from us being teenage mothers, and I want to stop. I mean, teenage parents. I want to stop right there." Then Keisha, it goes back to what you're saying. See, it doesn't matter what we were as teenagers. We did our best in how we brought you up, right? Ultimately, at the end of the day, you're choosing to act and behave the way you want to. Why does it matter? How many men and women are teenage who were teenage parents whose children went on to be successful? You follow what I'm saying? It still looked like she's still making excuses for his behavior. He's 33. Why are you still talking about y'all being teenage parents? I mean, fuck, were y'all 12? Were y'all 11? I mean,
I think that was her response because he brought it to light. I don't even really feel that's her true feelings. I feel like she was put in a situation and now I have to respond. So let me take some accountability in here, because now the shit has already hit the fans pretty much. I don't
Gotcha.
really feel like it has anything to do with that. That was her best defense, to not push blame on him. As a parent, I'm an adult, I'm grown. So let me make sure I address this properly, and have some kind of accountability here. That's what I feel she's doing right now as a mother.
Gotcha. Any
Straight
last
up.
words?
But was it? I guess my thing is, was it a need for her to even do it? I would have came out in solidarity with Kirk, to be honest with you,
She did.
and said that. Well, I mean, I'm just saying without adding in, we were teenage parents, because at this point, you might have struggled then, but I'm sure this boy has been introduced to a better life by now. Kirk is not. He can count some coins and some foldable money, as they say, but
Mm-hmm.
Right.
this wasn't always your life. So how you started is not how you ended. It's what's in between that got him shook to where he wanted. I personally think, I don't know, because they didn't conference me in on the call. I wish they would have, because we could have tag team. We could have tag teamed that boy nicely. We really had. But it's the underlying issues. It's the underlying stuff that he don't want to deal with, that Kirk is probably trying to deal with him on. Probably
Mm-hmm.
stuff in his life. He's out there in California. He probably feels like they should be doing more for him than they did, and all this other stuff. And when Kirk probably said, let's won't you come home so we can deal
Right.
with whatever it is that you're going through. Well, he don't want to do that. So bam, let me record my dad, because the last time we had this conversation, he went off. So he's going to go off. So let me go ahead and record this. And then for him to go back and put that caption, I don't think I'll be safe around my dad alone again. Or what, Kirk, 5
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
Five.
on now.
He just
I'm
he should
I'm
just
safe with Kirk in the dark alley. I'm safe. And you gonna tell me you at 33 is not safe? You can win me a lot of that situation if you have to.
Right.
mhm.
Come
Right.
on, that's
Yeah.
what
Listen.
I have to say about it.
Listen. If listen, I don't know if this. I talk as if we is this shit gonna get to this little brother, this young brother. First of all, man up. From man to man, let me say it. First of all, you need to man up, get over whatever your daddy issues are, because at the end of the day, uh, uh, my boy Will Smith said it perfectly. At the
Mhm.
There's a difference between fault and responsibility. You can't blame somebody else. That's your fault. Okay, that's their fault, but it's damn sure your responsibility to how you choose to handle it. So at the end of the day, it is still this young man's responsibility to make sure he get himself together. Not Kurt, not his mother. Because this brother is a producer in California. It's not. He got a little career. He's trying to do a little something. You two grown. And so from man to man, man up, go deal with your issues. As a parent,
Right.
we understand. We salute you, Kirk Franklin. You never had to apologize to us,
Right.
because I'm telling you, reading this story, I had to sit up here and reflect on some shit that I probably said to my children. Now, I've never said that to my children. Let me make sure to just be clear about that. I've never said nothing like that. But as a parent, I did have to look at myself and say, you know what? Damn, I might be too hard on my daughter. Y'all know I got a daughter. She's 14. You know what I'm saying? And so, again, just save all that shit and keep it moving. With that being said, man, I'm going to play a video um, from YouTube. A brother on my page, he shared it. And it's a coach from a university, black guy, who take time out and he's teaching them how to interact with the police. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's a 3-minute video. However, I didn't even get to 3 minutes and 30 seconds because, again, if you know me here on this show, I cringe every time I see these damn videos where we're trying to teach our men how to interact with the police instead of teaching our men the law. How the law when the police come to you. So I'm going to play this video. I'm going to share my screen for everybody to see real quick. And after I play this video, I want the panel to weigh in on your thoughts about this video. So it is going to pop up. Give me one hot second. Do you guys see the video? You guys see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to play it. And again, this is a video from, let me pop back out the screen. This is from the undefeated coach Lavelle Moulton teaches his players how to handle getting pulled over by the police. Now, I done had this damn video set up and ready to play. And I got it on Facebook, but I really wanted to go back to the source. And now here we are with some damn issues with the damn video. So y'all just give me a hot second. We'll have it playing. Let's see. In the meantime, I'm going to go to the other video. It's good to have backups. So, here we go. Because I don't see it playing yet. Okay, there we go. I'm going to share it from an inbox. Hold on one second. We're going to go here to my inbox. Hold on, guys. I'll let you know. Tell me when you see this video, please. Hold on. With that being said, how's everybody doing up under this pandemic in this situation?
Pretty good. I'm not. I still wear my mask.
Uh-huh.
On
Yeah,
that,
me too.
everything else has started to open up a little bit. So I'm not ready to jump full fledged, and I know we're going to get in about the vaccination. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
wait because I'm.
So what are y'all thoughts on taking the vaccination? I mean, you two are
Um,
kind of new here. What are y'all thoughts about it?
I actually know some people that actually got it. So of course I asked questions just to see how they're feeling, but I'm the person that never got the flu shot because the way my mental is set up,
Mm-hmm.
I just never understood someone injecting the flu inside of me. So to me, this whole virus thing is the mental thought is the same. And I mean, I'm just gonna say I'm not gonna run in, I'm not gonna be the one to run and go and get it. Now, if it becomes mandatory and I have to do so, then I guess I don't have a choice. But I pretty much try to practice the things that I need based on what they've been telling us from the beginning. Same thing I do, to try to prevent myself from getting the flu. I'm not saying that I'm, not touchable, but I don't know. I'm just not. I haven't convinced myself to do it or want to do it. I
Okay.
haven't.
And we're going to touch on that. Here we go, though. Let me see. I should be good to go right now. You guys see my screen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I think it is loaded up. Here we go.
When you go to a club, who you with all the time? That boy, I know you in there. I know you ain't missing the club. Yeah. Okay. And Devin and Justin, y'all get back here. Y'all ready for this one? All right. So as you drive, we'll have some cops walk up on the scene, and you guys got to respond accordingly. Got it? This is our role play. Let's go. I know you don't even hit me with the 11 and 3 or 9 and 3 because you leaning back, go in the recliner seat, and let's go. All right, you ready? Go. Hey.
I feel like any black person, whenever you get pulled over, it's just always that just feelings just like damn, anything happens.
Roll the window down, guy. Know why I pulled you? No. You don't know why I pulled you? Get your damn license registration. Well, get you. Where you headed? Where you got your hands on your head? License on your head. Like originally. License. Need you guys to step out. Step out of the vehicle. Go ahead. Step out of the vehicle, young man. Get out. Get out. Let's go. On your knees. On your knees. On your knees. On your knees. Hands behind your head. What's that? Hands behind your head. Interlock your fingers. Interlock your fingers. Young man, step out. Step out. You see what happened to your buddy right here. Step out. Lay down. Lay down. Where's your ID?
As a black man, I have to raise my child with the harsh reality that he's still a black man. And whenever he's 16 years old, I have to teach him how to drive a car.
Watch your mouth. Where's your ID?
I have to teach him how to parallel park. I have to teach him how to keep two hands on the wheel. I have to teach him how to three-point turn. But I also have to teach him how to respond when the cop pulls him over. My kids don't have to do that. I don't want y'all being in that position. And I don't want y'all thinking this cannot happen to me. And we're doing this because this happened to you, coach.
I feel like that hit home for everybody that was in there. Growing up, your parents tell you, your siblings tell you, whenever they come, just sit quiet, don't make no sudden movements. Always talk your action, what you about to do. I'm about to reach in my pocket, I'm about to give you this, and this, and hope for the best, basically.
The first thing you did, you was reaching. What happens on that?
You get shot.
There you go. It's cool to be black at a black college, but we don't live in a black world.
People. So, again, this is the head coach of NCCU University taking our time to educate and teach his black players about how to interact. And of course, we didn't see all the video because, of course, it's longer than that. But this is what they chose the clip to share. And what I want to know is, like I always ask, and I'm gonna let Roz go first with this. Why do we continue play this game? Why do we have to take time to do it? Is it necessary? And I'm gonna give my thoughts because y'all know me. But I'm gonna let you women talk first about this. What are your thoughts about that video?
It's sad that you have to teach someone how to interact with the police officer, and they're not being trained on the other side. I understand it's for our safety, and I get that, but it's sad that you have to do it first and foremost. Now, what he's doing, I think, is good. It's educational because some men are not getting taught these things. So I appreciate him for doing it, but he shouldn't have to. It shouldn't be a normal. This shouldn't be a class in someone's day to teach you how to interact with people that is supposed to protect you in order to make it home. So that's heartening to me, to even have to think about it. I have two grandsons, and you have to start training them even earlier now. We didn't have these issues, not like this growing up to where it was magnified as big as it was. We played in our little cul-de-sac. I don't really think we even saw that many police officers in our neighborhood. And I grew up in the hood. I don't even think we saw it, not like it is now to where it's all over. It's everywhere. It's you have to teach classes, you have to retrain police officers. And why though? You're interacting with another human being. Why do you have to be trained on how to do that? Answer its own question from the video. Because we're not making it home alive. That's why.
Gotcha. Diamond, talk to me.
I totally agree with Roz. We shouldn't have to, and it's sad that it still happens. But I remember, I have two boys, so I've definitely had that conversation with them time and time again, and especially within the last couple of years, I've had it even more. And even though we've had it, I continue to reiterate it. Every time I'm driving and I see one of the African American, whether they're a young male, old man, or whatever, if I see them pulled over by the police, I tend to slow down and stop just so that if something goes wrong, I can be a witness. I can be there because honestly, if it's my son, I want someone else to do the same thing. And we have the problem with females as well. But honestly, I don't worry as much about myself. as I do my boys and our boys. Our young men are totally being taken out of context for no reason and just for the color of their skin. And it's sad, but that's where we are in America, and that's what we're dealing with. I do like the fact that that coach did take the time out to do it with them, because there are some boys that, for whatever reason, they didn't necessarily get that talk. So it's awesome to have another black male to stop and take time out and do a whole demonstration for that whole team, and even go to the point of videoing it to air it to show, hey, this is really going on. Also, the fact that it was a college coach, that even goes a little bit further, because it's like, hey, this is what's affecting our team. This is what is affecting Black America. So I do like the fact that he did it, but again, it's sad that we still have to do that. It's very sad that we're still dealing with it, even though we know that this has been America since day one, and it appears to still be America. And again, like I say, I've definitely had to talk with my boys, and I have been more often than ever. It's to the point that I'm sure I mention it once a month, and I'm getting on their nerves. But it's what makes me as as a mother, be like, well, I know they're prepared. I know that they know what to do in these situations, but it does happen.
Keisha, talk to
Yeah.
me.
This goes this goes deep because when I watched that video, I was really intrigued for a couple reasons. I don't have two boys, but I have two girls. And it just makes you think. I honestly think it's something that really much so need to be taught. I'm not saying that it's right, but because of the world that we live in, I think it needs to be taught because, and I know you're going to educate us on your thought process behind it, Boss Hog, but there's one thing to be educated on something and know the law, but in that type of moment, it don't matter. So I could be smart and educate myself and know what to do once I get out of this situation, but being taught and know what to do in that moment is very, very important. And I think that's the part that we're missing. That's just like having a lot of book sense. But if I'm dropped off in the hood, that book sense don't mean nothing right now. I need to know how to act and turn my street knowledge on because I'm in the hood. So you got to know how to do and what to do. I remember getting a phone call from my daughter about 5:30 a.m. when she was 16. She's about to be 23 now. But what happened was she got pulled over by the police, her and two of her friends. And at that moment, I had to tell myself, damn, you never even taught her how to react, how to respond when this stuff happens because you never thought she would be in that situation. And all I remember at that moment, because it's early in the morning and she's sassy, she's popping off, and I could hear the police officer talking to her. I could hear her responding back to the police officer. And all I could think was, she's going to get shot. She's going to get shot. Shut up. I'm telling her, shut up. I'm screaming in the phone, shut up. Stop. Be quiet. But she did not know what to do because I failed to tell her what to do because I would have never assumed that she would be in a situation and get pulled over. So I think that was a good thing that the guy did by teaching them that. And one thing that stood out to me is that what he said in the beginning, he went through that himself. So it's passion. He's passionate about that. He's sharing his experience of what he went through to prevent other Black males from going through what he went through. It's his own personal experience.
Gotcha. So, if you don't know me and where I stand on this, you finna find out today. Um, as I said before, I cringe at these videos. I have a son who's gonna be 20. Matter of fact, next week on the 25th of March, he will be 20 years old. I've also acknowledged and also made it very clear over the years that I've never had a conversation with my son in how to deal with the police. That is on purpose. I do it on purpose. As a Black man, Melanin Mafia, you know me. I'm the same one that wear the Kuta Kente t-shirts. I don't have to tell you how I roll. Psychologically, what happens when we're doing that to our Black men, it is It's called submission. Again, it's one thing if he's teaching them the law. In other words, when you're pulled over and knowing your rights. And I want you guys, if you're watching, I want you guys to think about why is it that Colin Kaepernick and his camp is never publicized? Because he's teaching young men and young women the law in regards to the police. In other words, you need to know when the police approach you what's right and wrong by the law, not how to respond, not how to shut up, be quiet, yes sir, no sir. Because to me, in my mind, we're taught that anyway, regardless of who we're dealing with. That's called basic respect. That's basic respect. Yes, no. This person is not so much in a position of authority, but you've been stopped for something. Just be quiet, see what it is, answer when answer, but know what to say and not to say. In that video, it doesn't talk about what they're being taught to say and not to say. The law regarding to you that you do have the right to be silent, that you do not have to speak to the police, because you don't. You don't have the right. You don't have to hand over our ID. It's knowing. And so for me, this is where the problems show up for me and where I have problems with these type of videos. Yes, as a black man, I have too been pulled over firsthand. I'm a black man. I have been pulled over before too. I can give you guys numerous situations where I've been pulled over on the way to University of North Texas. Officers sitting on the other side of the freeway, literally coming around. And if you up 35, you know after a while it's divided. So you can't drive across the median to chase you. That dude literally went around and came and caught me in my little old black blazer. It was me and my brother, literally to tell me that I'd seen you from the other side of the highway. You didn't have your seatbelt on. And I asked this gentleman, I said, how in the hell can you tell me I didn't have my seatbelt on and tinted windows? And not only is my window tinted, my damn door just happened to be hit. So I got plastic on my window. But needless to say, he wrote me the ticket because, again, I'm going to ask what I have a right to ask and shut the hell up because I have that right. And that's what we forget, that we too in that situation have rights as well. And so, again, let me say it to be clear. I've never sat with my son who will be 20 years old and tell him, son, this is how you should be when the police come. Because I understand what I'm teaching him psychologically. I'm teaching him that they are superior to you. And in that moment, you are inferior. And now I understand that, and hopefully other people understand that. That's why I choose not to do it. I teach my son yes, no, just the basics of respect. I commend him for at least starting the conversation because it's a start. In other words, I just want to see the other side of the video. You guys follow what I'm saying? If you're going to teach the interaction, show the other part of this conversation that needs to be had too, where you're learning your rights. Again, I want to ask you guys, why don't you see Colin Kaepernick in his camp? Because he has a know your rights camp, and you never see it being publicized the same way they took an opportunity to publicize. And I want you guys to think about this. And that's why I said it's really mental, and it does play on our men. Ask yourself, why is it that we know people get killed all the time in the streets. But have you ever asked yourself, why is it that they always showing and highlighting people of color getting killed by police officers? That's by design. That's media. Yes, we know white folks get shot too. But how often do you see it publicized in the same manner you see us being shot by the police officer? That's subliminal. It's saying something to people of color. And after a while, if you're not paying attention to it, it's like you don't see it. And so I want to talk about it again. If you never watched our show, that we have this conversation. And regardless if you agree with me or any of the people on the panel, what I would say to parents of children of people of color, if it's daughters, if it's sons, I'm going to say, teach your children to know their rights first and foremost. Then teach them how to interact. Because here's the reality. And I said this on the brother post who shared this. I said, you know what? This is equivalent to this. You guys remember you see this on social media. If y'all dress a certain way, and if you look the part, then they won't assume you a thug.
Yeah.
I'm sure y'all seen that. I'm sure y'all heard all this. Well, if you look presentable, and if you carry a, but guess what? That's really the equivalent of this video. I'm sure y'all didn't look at it like that, but that's literally the equivalent of that video. If you look good and if you know how to act in front of them, maybe you can walk away. But the truth is, and Rod said it years ago, a racist police officer go shoot you regardless if you're saying yes or no.
Right.
You
And
get what I'm saying?
I was gonna come to that and say they can still, I mean, we've seen the videos of hand on the steering wheel telling a police officer, do you have a gun permit? Yes, I'm gonna get it for you. But he still didn't come out of that situation alive. So we can teach the respectful part of it, but if that person is gonna do it, they're gonna do it.
Right, and that's
I
just my
agree.
point.
I agree. But it's still in the same breath. We have to, okay, in this situation,
Mm-hmm.
everything is supposedly recorded anyways when you're pulled over, by the police officers. It's supposed to be. But we can still make ourselves look as if we're being aggressive when we're really not. So the reason why I say, what's being taught is important is because it's really all about how a police officer can possibly even make you feel like you were a threat to them and they had to do these things. But yes, you're right. If that's the mindset and they were going to do that, then it's a strong possibility they are. But what will help them make that decision quicker is based on your actions when you're in that situation. So I don't see it being too easy for a person just because they're racist or whatever the case may be to shoot if you're not giving them nothing to really feed off of. And sometimes when we know the law, we get a little bit more aggressive because we do know what it is that we're talking about. Our body language switch up. We're so confident and you can and you can't do this. And now here it is because I know my rights and I'm telling you these things. I'm a victim and my family can tell the story. But at that moment, it's very important how you react in those situations. Very
Right, like
That
important.
and that's true because also I have to look at the point. My youngest son, he was at an early age very well athletic built. He's a football player. He already stood at 6'2". So we needed to have not only the conversation of him knowing his rights because he's intelligent, and that part wasn't an issue, but it was making sure that you present yourself in the correct manner when you're in that situation because my son in the 5th grade, I had a teacher telling me he was a bully. And it was more because of the size that he was. It had nothing to do with his attitude or anything else. It had to do with she looked at his physique and she was like, oh my God. So because he's already that athletic built type, that linebacker football has that body prototype, a lot of people automatically looked at him as him being an aggressive person, not really knowing that's really a teddy bear. He's a kid that will take his shoes off and give them to the less fortunate. But that's not what the average American, when they see him, that's not what they see. That's not what they look at. They look at this boy is standing 6 foot tall and he lifts weights, da 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 da. And because I know him and I know his mother, I know his mother has an attitude at times, depending which day you catch her. So because of that, I also needed to reiterate to him that when you're in these situations, yes, no, you're not inferior, but there's still a certain way you have to make sure you carry yourself even more. Because if it does come down to the court thing, because at the end of the day, it's perception. So if you have that aggressive looking physique that you naturally have, it's already going to rule in your favor. So you have to make sure what comes out of your mouth is presented very correctly and that you don't show an aggressive side or attitude because they're going to automatically write out, oh, well, he was aggressive. I would have done that too. Plus, he's 6'2". So, yeah, I'm scared of him too. Let me just kill him. So, all of that comes into play. Not just the fact of, oh, we're teaching you to be inferior, because that's something I already know what mindset he had. But I also needed to reiterate that in certain situations, conversation will get you out of certain situations. And there are times, yes, that person, if that's what's in their mind, I'm going to kill me, excuse my language, I'm going to kill me a nigga today. If they woke up with, I'm going to kill a nigga today, then yes, they going to kill a nigga today. But every once in a while, sometimes that conversation can rule in your favor and get you from point A to point B. At the end of the day, it's not for him to be inferior, but I'm sorry, it is for him to return home in one piece and be safe. If you can prevent your death today, let's prevent our death today. Let's remember that. And that's something, even in everyday life we take into context. Even as a teacher, there's some days I want to cuss out some parents. But at the end of the day, I want to come back to work tomorrow. So I might just have to, calm it down a little. I got to take it down a notch because I still got to pay this mortgage. I still got this, whatever. I still want to come see y'all.
Whatever you got to do.
You know what I'm saying? So there are times that we do have to. That is reality. It's not good. It's not right. But sometimes you just got to bring it down a notch. Sometimes, honestly, you got to dumb it down a notch. Because I consider myself to be pretty educated at times. But have I ever played the dumb girl role? Yes, I have. Why? Because that dumb girl role was going to get me from point A to B where I needed to go. Guess what? By playing the dumb girl role, I was able to get an extra $20,000 scholarship in college because I went into that financial aid office playing the dumb girl role. Yeah, I knew the rules. I knew everything before I went in there. But at that particular day, that's what I needed. I went with another girl. And both of us, she was aggressive. I was the non-aggressive. She walked out the office with $0. I walked out with 20,000. I needed that money to get through college. So that, we just have to look at sometimes we got to look at the big picture. And sometimes you just got to do what you got to do to get from A to B.
Oh Lord, listen, not the analogy of the school.
Hello, somebody.
Right, I'm just saying.
Listen, I get it. Hold on, guys, because I know Roz is going to have to leave to take care of some business real quick. So again, Roz, listen, I want to thank you for chiming in. I know your situation right now, so you got to get up out of here. So I just want to say I thank you. We're definitely looking forward to having you back on here. We're glad to see you. Glad to get you back in the in the swing of things. With that being said, man, enjoy the rest of your day and good luck on the election.
Thank you.
Good luck on the election. I love the hair.
Have a good one.
This is COVID hair. This is COVID hair. So I'm trying. I enjoyed the conversation. Of course, I will be back. Boss will link up Tuesday and get everything done. But yeah, I got to get over to this other Zoom meeting for our election. So good luck to me and to the rest of the court. I was going to say lodge court.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
Good luck. Have a good one.
So again, I like I said, I understand where you guys are coming from. At the end of the day, it is still going to be on that officer. As Ross was saying, we have so many situations and circumstances in which turns that idea of what this coach doing and other people doing upside down. As Ross said, we have, yes, I have a gun permit. He wasn't doing nothing that made him look like he was going to do anything. He said, hey, I'm going to show you guys my gun permit. That officer shot him just because he didn't have no gun. This dude legally had a gun permit. In Minnesota, you can do it. He had the right to carry his gun, and they shot him in front of his girlfriend and his children. And all I'm saying to you guys is, because I take you guys' points, and I'm sure everybody else do, is that ultimately at the end of the day, it is up to the police officer. That's really honestly that determines on if you're going to walk away from your son. You say is 6 foot, built a certain way. If he encounters an officer who don't give a damn and feel a certain type of way, it didn't really matter what he did. It just really didn't matter. And so, yes, you're right, Keisha. They supposed to have body cameras, but guess what? That's not mandatory depending on what state you in, what city, what county. That's why we find a lot of times they cut them off. That's not a federal or state law. Now, so again, I just wanted to have this conversation because it always means something to me as a father. And though I use the word inferior, we are teaching our children something. You guys don't have to see it, but I majored in psychology. Psychologically, it is doing something to our children. When we see these killings on TV, it is psychologically doing mental damage to our children. And if we're not teaching our children how to not just interact again, that's fine, but also know the law. Prime example, I know when I get pulled over, I've already immediately contacted two people. I've contacted a fraternity brother, and I've reached out to my parents. The minute I'm stopped, it's said in my phone, I'm at such and such place, I'm stopped right now.
But who taught you that? But who taught you that?
Too.
No, listen, nobody never taught me that. What taught me that was life. What taught me was that, hey, you know what? If I get pulled over, understanding the circumstances as a black man, let me reach out to people so they'll know if I don't make it home, you know why I ain't made it home. But guess what? Also, in doing so, the person that I've texted and come in, they have every right to view and watch the encounter. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? That's why I said it's about also educating. In other words, Keisha, if you text me and say, hey, boss, I just got pulled over by the police officer. I'm right here on 20 over here by the Church's Chicken. I say, you know what? I'm on my way. I have every right to pull up behind that police officer and record and monitor it. If you guys ever know anything about history, the Black Panthers, that's what they used to do to make sure that the police officers were doing what they supposed to do and people can walk away unharmed. We just got away from the things that we know that we can do is what I'm saying. And so I just think we should just teach it all the way around. Yes, we want to teach again our children to be respectful. To yes, no. Answer when you're asked the question. Know what you can say and not to say. What I'm saying is we just need to have a broad conversation about all of this. Not just a one-sided conversation, but everything. Like for instance, yeah, we done taught our children and we're gonna move on. I'm gonna use this for an example. I done just taught my son, yeah, you know what, when the police come, you should need to keep your hands on the steering wheel. Yes, sir, no, sir, blah, 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 blah. Don't make no sudden moves or whatever. But then the minute the police officer say, I would like to search your car, and you say it's yes. So you didn't know that you could tell the police officer, no, I'm not going to allow you to search my car. You don't have probable cause to search my car. But we've taught our children how to, don't make sudden moves, don't be reaching for nothing, yes and no. But what we didn't teach them was the right and wrongs. Right. And that's why I said the other side of it is teaching the law. You know what? You can go through my car. You need to get a warrant. Because right now you're giving me anything because you got to have probable cause. And right now there's no probable cause. My tail light does not give you the authority to search my car. I have a tail light out. And so again, it's just an overall conversation about all of it. Now let's keep it moving. Let's jump into this transgender situations again for you guys who have followed the news and watched. Now we have men who transition or associate, as they like to say, as girls. Now they are participating in sports. However, you got parents, you have girls who now have a problem with it. And so states are creating laws to prohibit transgender women from participating in all female sports. I think it's anywhere between 12 and 32 states who are trying to enact some type of state law where they're prohibiting it, because now the transgender women are dominating these sports. Wrestling, track, you name it. And we know the reason why they're dominating is because naturally they were born men. First and foremost, before we jump into the rest of the story, I want to know, what are y'all thoughts, because I've never asked you guys, what are y'all thoughts about transgender women in female sports? Talk to me.
um, I just feel that it's not. It's really nothing to, in my opinion, it's hard to really express your opinion on that, only because it doesn't it's not the same. Like, I understand that we have of equal of this or equal of that, but are we really of equal when it talks about sports? I just feel like there's a motive behind everything, and sometimes when we allow so many different things to happen, we have to look at the bigger picture of it. I mean, is this about money? Is this about, you know, am I guaranteed to win now because I have this type of person here? Like, there's so many different things that go on behind that. I just
Hmm.
feel that, to keep it right all across the board, when we start talking about sports and things of that nature, we still got to look at the real picture and who's all involved. I mean, to be honest with you, I look at it just like boxing. If you got a professional boxer out there, that person is still put in a situation, if they were to use those strengths personally, you know what I'm saying? Outside of what they train to do on a consistent basis of people of their equal inside of a ring. So how can we open up all these different doors for different things to happen and not even look at it in that aspect? Now, are they talking about possibly these people getting fined? If I'm in a sport of a person and I'm supposedly of equal to them now because I've had a sex change or whatever the case may be,
Hmm.
it still does not take away my upper body strength. It still does not take away so many different things. So am I okay with being fined if this person that I attack, depending on what type of sport it is hurt? So, there's a lot of things, if we want to add them into, things, not to
Hmm.
be, discriminating, but what are we willing to do? The bigger picture.
Gotcha.
It,
Diamond, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I definitely look at it the same way. I was actually having this conversation earlier. My reference was the movie. Yes, it's a movie, but it still brings it home. Is Joanna Man, because remember, and even though he didn't actually have the actual sex change, but it was a man that dressed up as a woman to play a female sport, basketball, who actually, when he did that, he dominated the game of basketball on the women
Yeah.
arena. So when you just think about that, yes, you're having sexual changes, but it doesn't change everything about you, and it doesn't, so
Mm-mm.
you still, as a man, you still have that man athletic ability that. So we said before, now we said men had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that it was a 10 to 17% as far as ability over a woman, as far as athletic. So we said that about a man before having that sex change, because having a sex change doesn't change the make that actual autonomy. So when we say that, well, now you're a woman, you want to be classified as a woman, but you still have that advantage over someone that was born a woman. Now that is a unfair advantage. That is not fair.
Very.
However, I did read the article, and I did read where this same doctor was saying that hasn't necessarily been proven to this point of view. But I also noticed this same doctor still gave those same numbers when it came men to women. So and I haven't done a lot of research, just from reading this particular article, the doctor's statement himself was a little contradictory. Because in one sentence you said, "Oh, it's fair," and another sentence you said it wasn't. And this is the same person that has advised against uh NCAA, but he's saying it doesn't matter in high school or middle school because they're not as competitive, and that is not true. I don't know what state he is in, but I'm in Texas. And I'm gonna tell you, sports in Texas, no matter what grade level you are, it can be little league. We are competitive when it
Right.
comes to sports. It's just point blank. And if you're not good at your sport, guess what? You don't make the team. And even in little league, if you don't play good, yeah, you got on that uniform, but let's be real, you ride that beat. And when the
That's
score is up
absolutely
real
true.
high, you get a little play
Yeah.
time. You say you hit the field just enough so your mama don't go cuss out the coach and say, "Okay, been on that field." But we are competitive, so I think if you're feeling this way and you have all these different views, then definitely we need more research. As with
I need
anything,
more information.
more research. But coming out the gate, it's unfair if you have this advantage over this person that was born this way. That's unfair, and it should not be allowed. And of course,
Right.
granted, yeah, we definitely need more research. But with what we have right here today and what I know of, because I'm only speaking on what I know about, it's unfair that if you automatically have this advantage, and then just because you have a sex change, you still have that advantage. Not trying to discriminate against anyone, because again, if you're not protected, then you are looked at as a second class citizen, and you're gonna have more issues. But let's be real. I'm a second class citizen because I'm an African American. So you're gonna have those different advantages no matter how you look at. Yes, because you got a sex change and you're now transgender. Yes, you are looked at differently. But that's a
Right.
decision you made, and all of that went together. So we have to look at the big picture. And I think it's unfair if that is the legitimacy behind what they're saying. I don't believe in discriminating against anyone. So if they're merely going off of because you were a man that changed into a woman and your natural physique and hormones gives you an advantage over a woman, then yes, it's unfair.
Right. And
But
so
is it
and so just
Boss
so we
Hogg,
can
help me understand one thing. Okay,
uh-huh.
because I'm hearing what everybody is saying, but I'm feeling like now if they are actually changed, meaning they've changed their appearance, and take the whole body change, like you say, the sex part out of there. No one is denying, to my knowledge, that you still can't play this sport. So let's even talk about basketball. If you got a passion for basketball, no matter what your outer appearance look like at this moment, unless it's a personal thing with you, no one's saying that you can't still play basketball. We're just saying that as a man, you should go play with the guys. I know that you've made yourself look like a woman now. No one's saying that because you've had this change, you can't play. So I got to understand the pain behind it. Like, why is it that you're so upset that you can't play with the women? That's why I feel like there's motive behind it. Is it because there is an advantage to win? Because no one's denying these people of the things they can't do. But why do you feel that it's fair to go into the league with the women? Go play with the guys and then do your thing. And nobody's judging who you are and what you want to do. But why is it so important to now go to the opposite team because of what you look like? We still know what you are. That's the part I'm missing. I guess I'm missing.
So
I really have to have a talk with somebody.
yeah. So let me explain something again. And we've been following this for years. The minute we started holding this conversation about transgender in sports, because again, on my show, I mean, we have athletes. I'm an athlete, Rise, and so we follow this from the beginning to now, literally over the course of years, and we like to just talk about how it's changing. So to help you understand, it's something we need to make clear. It is not so much that these men are having the sex changes, because remember, if as long as you identify as a female, then by law, that's just kind of how you got to go. And so what was happening is, I'm gonna give you a prime example of what I was talking about earlier. So you had two guys who were track athletes. The year before, they ran in high school as men, as boys, because they're in high school. The next year, they are all of a sudden transgender women. We're not talking they done got sex changes. You rarely hear little boys in high school getting a full 100. Now the guy put on the makeup, he got the hair, but he's still a teenage boy. These were two black boys. And so now they're dominating state. They win state 1 and 2. They break records. You get what I'm saying? And so
Right.
what we were saying back then in my stance is, I would respect these men more if they competed with the men. Because you're correct. Nobody's saying change your appearance. Nobody's saying you can still participate in said sports. But regardless of what you identify as, because nobody's not even saying you need to identify as a man. What we're saying is that because you were born biologically a man, regardless of what you change your appearance to,
Right.
why don't you run with the men?
Right.
Keisha, I do believe you're correct. I do believe that for a lot of them, it is a motive. Let's remember, let's think about it. These men who were running as teenage boys in Connecticut, they weren't dominating the men 100. They wasn't dominating the, you know what I'm saying, the men 200. They wasn't getting any publicity. But guess what? If I all of a sudden change to a girl, because now in Connecticut, I can run with the girls because now I identify. Again, you don't have to have the sex change,
Right.
just as long as now you identify. Now I'm winning. Now I'm dominating, but I don't want you guys to see me as a man. Well, but the truth is you still are. Diamond also made the point of Joanna Man, which is another classic example. Joanna Man did have the advantage because at the end of the day, regardless of the makeup and the hair and how she tried to sound, she was ultimately physically superior to the women because she had better skills as a man. Because he knew he was a man. He knew he played basketball the way men play basketball, which gave him the advantage versus women. Now, for you guys who don't understand why we're having this conversation, because recently, as Diamond alluded to, there's a doctor. His name is Dr. Eric Villain, and what he did was he made statements about there not being a study on men who are dominating, and this is what he says. It was often missing from the cultural aspect of the debate is a focus on the type of question that Dr. Eric Villain has spent much of his career researching. He goes on to say that he's a pediatrician and genetic who studies sex differences in athletes. He says there are no good faith reasons to limit transgender women participation in sports, especially at the high school level. He advises the International Olympic Committee and the NCAA and says these laws generally aren't based in scientific evidence, but rather target women who have either a different biology or simply look different. So, in other words, what he's saying in a nutshell, just to go through all that, is that there is no scientific proof that says that these transgender women are dominating these sports because they're men. Again, let me say it again. He's saying there's no scientific proof. Okay, well, again, it goes back to being smart and understanding. He would be correct in saying that that's correct. Because when you think of science and study, you talking about studying blood and all that. But we know from the visual proof, we know from the outcomes of these men who are participating in girls' sports that they're winning. They're winning overwhelmingly. I don't know if you guys seen the story here in Texas. We had the same situation in wrestling. A young man, he went over to start wrestling, and this was like maybe 3 or 4 years ago. He's wrestling in Texas as a girl. He goes on to win state like 2 or 3 years in a row. Yes, you're a boy beating on girls. And so we don't have to have the scientific proof. We can see what happened when men who identify as women go into these sports. I give you another one. And again, I'm a sports person, so I don't expect you guys to really pay attention to this stuff the way we do. Some years ago, there was a woman who's a biological woman, and in the Olympics, her genes will have you believing that she can go either way. Her features, even though she's feminine, she still have kind of like masculine features. And so what happened is they questioned her as a woman. They didn't think that she was a woman. Now she is a biological woman. She got the private parts, but because of her physical appearance, they was like, "Well, damn, now you can't be a woman." She had to go through all this testing. I mean, literally, just think about it. Because you look so different, you look like a female. You got the hair, but you're just so dominant that we don't even think that you're a female. And so I see the hypocrisy in what he's saying is that I'm like, y'all just really put a woman through hell who was a real woman behind because she looked different, but she was really a woman. But then for this doctor to turn around and say, well, there's no proof in middle school and high school, shit, that's a lie. And so I guess I hope I answered your question. Is not so much of the sex change, and I do agree with you. I said the same thing. Nobody's telling you not to be who you feel you are. What we're saying is and what these girls are saying is, why don't you compete against the boys? You know,
Right.
Yes, you think you're a girl, but why not just compete with the boys?
Right.
Because the only alternative is to have transgender sports. And how would that look? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How would that look to? And let's be real, how many people in high school really associate with being transgender? Y'all gonna have a fucking track meet with only 3 folks? You see what I'm saying? You know, if we separated that shit, like, how would it look? And so, like I said, man, I just felt like that was something that I wanted to get everybody caught up on because, like I said, over the years we've been tracking this situation because, again, let's be real. You know, life is changing. Um, what we thought was once right, you know, male and female has been turned upside down. Now we got transgender women. It's just so many different labels for them that it's kind of hard to keep track of. And so this is one of them that we're monitoring, you know, and continue to monitor over the years. With that being said, man, we go wind down the show. I want to say thank you to Diamond who hold it down with me all the way from San Antonio, Texas. Um, Miss CEO, she made sure she put that shit on there.
Right. It's automated. It's already
Yeah,
there. Look,
I
it's
am
there.
CEO, Miss CEO of Power, Keisha Keith. Again, thank you, Miss Lady, for being a guest on my show. Like I tell all my guests, whenever you would like to pop in, hit me up, let me know, because we go always have something to talk about, something to chime in about, and you know you're more welcome than anybody else to sit in and rock with us for a Sunday. So again, that invitation is always open up to you. With that being said, I'm
Thank
going to
you.
give everybody their last words. Diamond, talk to me.
This is your girl Diamond. You know, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at YOLO Expressions, where I have your customized mug, t-shirt, mask, jewelry, you name it. I'll pretty much customize your life for you. And then I'm on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find my nonprofit organization where I'm an advocate for victims of domestic violence and healing souls. This is Diamond.
Hey.
CEO of Power, Keisha Keys, holla at me.
Hey, y'all. I just want to say, first off, it was my pleasure to be here, and I definitely enjoyed it. So, thanks so much for inviting me. For those of you guys that are listening in and watching, just to give you a little bit of insight, Power Team, we're expanding. I will also drop my links here in the comments. I see that y'all have a lot of comments here, and the beauty of it is that we host our shows every Wednesday night between the hours of 8 and 9 p.m. I see a couple of my people on here as well. So shout out to you, Dr. Real. Thanks for tuning in. Shout out to Jay Money. And also shout out to my boy, King Leo. Those are the people that's on with me on Wednesday night. However, because we are expanding, we're having a couple of spin-off shows as well that will be going on. So I have a couple of spots open too. So inbox me, hit me up if podcasting or actually selling your business, getting in front of a platform of people is something that you like to do. I'm more than happy to work with you and help you fulfill that dream and that vision. And that's truly what I love to do. So again, thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed being here with y'all today.
Again, thank you very much. Listen, shout out to Melanin Mafia for my t-shirt. I'm loving it. You know, I love my people. So shout out to you guys as well. Please make sure you go to the Petty Crew page on Facebook, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. We're on Twitter at The Petty Crew 1 on Twitter. We are on all your social media platforms as well. So please make sure you show us love. Make sure you go over to YouTube. I am trying to get that damn YouTube on the same level of my Facebook. So go over there to YouTube to subscribe as well. I would really appreciate and love that. And I got something special as I end this show. I'm going to play this video from. I just loved it to death. I love my sisters, and so there's a sister by the name of Amanda Fields, and if you don't know who she is a very colorful, soulful lady, and we were talking about race and the police and everything, and I thought it would be um, fitting to play this video. So I'm gonna play this video for you guys real quick before we get up out of here. So let me share this video from my page, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Again, I love my sisters when they talk from the heart, who are soulful, and they just stay lit. So here we go right here. Let me pull it up. Hope you guys see that video.
So it just brought to my attention that Kevin Frazier interviewed this Cretan, Sharon Osbourne, and gave her a softball interview, just not asking her any real hard questions about the allegations that are taking place, and decided in his caption when he posted on Instagram to tag myself, Holly Robinson Pete, and Cheryl Underwood, in an effort to have a kumbaya teaching moment for this trashed ass woman who doesn't even feel like she needs to abide by the basic laws of civility, let alone in a professional setting. And I'm wondering why son and brother, particularly in this entertainment business, feel the need to lay their coat down and cross troubled waters to help these white folks who don't give a fuck about us. First of all, it is not the responsibility of black folks to educate white folks on how they cannot be trash ass folks. Okay? They fucking made up racism. Why the fuck we gotta teach you how to not be racist? To expect us to do that and to, as a person, try to rally up folks into that space is one, just foolish and also not respectful of our time and of our energy. I don't got the time. I'm on my trampoline. And on another level, completely devoid of any consideration for the fact that Cheryl and Holly have been at the brunt of this woman's racist bullshit. So basically, you're asking victims to come and have a nice little sit down with their attacker so that this bitch can feel better? No, we are not on the rehabilitate white people train. That is not what our energy is for. There is no stimulus check for our time. There are real issues going on out here. Okay, there is a whole political system and infrastructure based on racism, and y'all got us fucked up if you think that it is of our priority to put any energy, I can't even talk, I'm so irritated, to put any energy into helping save the public character of this British woman. She ain't even from here. Okay, you didn't go here. So Kevin Frazier, I hope you would do me a favor and check yourself in the mirror. Go call Don Lemon, who learned, you know what, I'm better with my people, and came over and rocked with us and continues to do so in a real way.
The president's legacy will be not the most masculine president, but the biggest loser we have ever had as president.
I want you to consider how backwards it is that you and your producers felt it important to provide a platform for this disingenuous, lying-ass, treacherous broad instead of creating a safe space for those who have had to feel the effects of her attacks, of her lunacy, of her loose-ass lips. That is what your energy should be given to, not protecting her. Remove the cape. And don't tag me the next time you put it on. Racist white people bother me. They frustrate me. They disgust me. But let me tell y'all, black folks who be about just, Massa, what can I do to make you feel good, Massa? If you sick, I sick. That does something else to me. It disappoints me from my soul to my ancestry. It makes my body tighten up. It brings a rumble in my spirit. And I want to return to my peace. Again, if you're wondering about my vehemence and why I am just so on this story, it's because I have had to work in this business with these types of people all my life, and they just go unchecked. And we continuously, as black folks and people of color, got to stomach it and navigate around it and meditate before we come into work just to deal with it. And it's just unacceptable. And as we are continuing with the trend of an eruption of awakening that has been happening since summer 2020, we need to understand that this is when accountability starts happening. This is when the application of that awakening starts happening. This is when them black squares that everybody wanted to put on Instagram, this is when the shadow of those squares must come down and smoke out the continual burning flame of racism that moves through the halls of this industry. And until the people in power use their power to disempower that type of behavior, it will continue to be pervasive. And we cannot stand for it. I really need my own show. Man, I really need my own show.
Listen, I just had to end the show with that video. That clip made my whole goddamn week when I seen it first on Instagram. Go over to Instagram, go follow her. If you didn't know who she was, y'all know who she is now. I love people who call out BS. And even though I don't follow that type of drama, the backstory behind it is very simple. I guess the show that they're all on, the young lady that they talking about, she's what's her name? Osborne, what's her name? Yeah, they all are on the show. Apparently, she said some racist stuff or whatever, and she was asking, like a lot of them do, asked to be educated on how they are racist. And so, to fast forward, she just felt like she needed to respond to that because the host of ET tagged her on Instagram in them coming together to try to talk to her. And so that is the backstory behind that video. But again, that was inspiration for me. And I